if whatever it is doesn't work out, get up. I lost 2 elections. I was the youngest former governor in American history after the Reagan landslide. I had one guy appointed to the cabinet walk across Main Street in Little Rock to avoid being seen shaking hands with me for fear that the guy that beat me would fire him. That was a humbling experience. And I think you got to realize there's no personal ambition you have which can be extinguished by anybody else. Only you, by giving up your dreams, can extinguish them. And if it doesn't work out exactly like you intended, it'll still take you someplace interesting and you'll make a difference. So my advice is what George said, don't be afraid to fail, but you probably will whether you're afraid to or not. And it's scary. You just got to get up. The world belongs to tomorrow, not yesterday. Don't give anybody else permission to take your life away. Just keep living and keep giving. And never make the perfect the enemy of the good. Never think that what I'm doing is too little to make a difference. That's not true. That's not true. Do something every day. Someday, for all of us, it'll be our last day. And what will matter were all the steps we took along the way and what they amounted to, not the home run we hit on day X.
What has been the best advice you received from your teacher or professor?
Ooh, I've gotten a lot of great advice from teachers, mentors, professors throughout the years. So first of all, you gotta be open to taking some risks and not being afraid to fail. Failure is the key to success. So when you get to college, you gotta raise your hand. You have to be engaged. Don't be the kid thinking, oh, I shouldn't be here, and maybe I'm not smart enough, and maybe, no. You are more than capable of going to college, being successful, and going on and doing whatever you want in life. I sit here because I am you all. There is no difference between me and you. Working class kid, growing up on the south side of Chicago, growing up with doubts and fears just like all of you all do. I know exactly how you all are feeling, and kids out there who are thinking, maybe I'm not ready, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I can't afford it. But what teachers and mentors have told me is that yes, you can and you must. So get in there and be bold with your intelligence. Raise your hand, get support when you need it, and know that we all got here because somebody helped us.
Because the resources had been so limited for so long, there were a lot of people who would say, God, if I only had access to a camera, I would make a movie. There's a lot of talk about it. I remember when I was in college, I would spend most of my time in my room writing screenplays, really bad screenplays, but I was in my room doing that when I probably should have been studying or something. There were a lot of people I remember at parties who would talk about writing and that they wanted to be a writer, but I would always notice that they were out. Every time I would happen to go out, they would always be out, and I just know that there are people who talk about what they would do if, but they're not actually doing the thing. And so it's a lot easier to actually write a screenplay than you think it is. It might not be good, but most people talk about writing screenplays but don't actually write them. The people who write them, you're already like in the top 10%.
See, every time you make a decision, what we're talking about here is clarifying your values. Every single time you make a decision, you are basing it on unspoken values. You have a grid in your mind. You've never even thought about this, most likely, but you have a set of values in your mind, and every time you make a decision, I'm gonna do this and not do that, I'm gonna buy this and not buy that, I'm gonna spend my time and effort and energy on this and not on that, you are showing your hidden values. The problem is most people have never figured out what they are, where they came from, and whether they're valid or not. So really the secret of success is clarifying your values. This is a skill you need to learn. What is valuable to me and what is not valuable? Every time you make a decision, you reveal your values. My question is, do you know where your values came from? How are they working out? Is your life working out with those values? Do you know where you picked them up? Are they working for you? Your values in life determine your stress, determine your success, and determine your salvation. Now, you may not realize this, but your values could be causing stress in your life.
You know, it's funny, sometimes I talk to my wife about this, but like hard work is like super important in life. And like now, like I grew up like in Berkeley, I didn't have any money. I played for the football for the Yellow Jackets. I was just like a kid in the neighborhood. And now like I have a lot of money. And so like with my kids, I'm like, okay, now that I'm rich, how do I teach you the value of hard work? Because that's really the only important lesson that I've got. But like for all of you, I think most of you out of public university probably know a little of the value of hard work. Keep that lesson. That's the important, that work is what's important. It's that effort where you learn the secrets that are super valuable and can change people's lives and change the world.
Hard work pays. I put in a hell of a lot of work all throughout this build-up in the fight. I pumped out more content than anybody, more content than Fox, more content than ESPN, more content than BT Sport, more content than everybody on the Mag Live on my own channels. You know what I mean? I'm a workhorse from all angles, not just in the gym, but I'm building this media empire now myself, and we pumped out the content. I'm very proud of how it went. We consistently, daily movies I was releasing, you know, from like a month ago, every single day. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that. So I'm very proud of it, and I'm very, like, the work pays, hard work pays, and I put in the fucking work, and that's why I'm sitting at the top. I put it all on the line, I show up, I perform, and I get the results from that.
I think some people, and maybe I used to think once you got successful, you could, you're successful, and okay, now you can kind of just relax a little bit, but that's not the case at all. You have to pedal even harder, you have to work even more. There are more opportunities that need more time and dedication, and in order to do them well, you have to really hunker down and do the hard work. But I've never been afraid of hard work, and I always tell people, when I'm asked, and it's pretty often that I'm asked about dreams and achieving creative goals, that I always believe that the bridge between reality and a dream is work. And I always, in moments of despair and doubt and dark days, focus on the work. I show up and I work and I work and I work and I work.
I took everything that I learned from an ethics standpoint that my grandfather taught me and put it into that. And saying if you pound it as hard, whatever thing in the same direction, if you keep hitting it, at a certain point it's gonna break and it'll open up. So that's what I did. Like, it was like, okay, cool, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus on this thing. We go either succeed or die trying. It is what it is.
I mean, you know, everybody got the same story, we just got different details. But like I always say, life is 10% what happens to you, it's 90% what you do about it. So the first step is getting completely and brutally honest enough to say, I am tired of myself. When you say I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's the facilitator of change. That's when you're ready to say these words, no more excuses. No more excuses. I went to Kent State, I dropped out. I didn't drop out, I flunked out. Now that threw my life into a spiral, but because I didn't have a college degree, I could not let that stop me. And like you're doing, where you're saying, all my friends at this age are settled in your careers, you don't even know if they're happy or not. Stop comparing yourself to others. So the first thing you do is stop focusing on other people. Instead, focus on being the best version of you that you can. Then you'll recognize that you deserve to sit at the big table with everybody else after you become the best that you can be.
I always believe that natural talent can take you so far, but I think you need to have the work ethic and the drive to achieve your potential. I mean, I'd say, you know, my natural talent, you know, probably brought me 50% of the way, but then after that it was all down to the work that I've done and the volume of work that I've done over the last 15 years. You know, when I really started to take golf seriously and thought about making this a career.
So the one thing my father gave me, which was really key, was that work ethic, that ability to get myself up in the morning, no matter how tired I was, to push myself through those pain barriers. And again, the combination of the loss of a mother at 6 and then being sent out to work at 10, I mean, starting work at 5 o'clock in the morning to do the milk round, being dropped off at 8:45 at school in the milk van, that work ethic. So that combination of those two, work ethic and great insecurity, was what got me to where I went to.
And then I joined Black Flag, and I thought I was a hardworking person. Then you meet the guys in Black Flag who are so driven. You'd see Greg Ginn work 23-hour days. Like, Greg, you're still on the phone. I know. Greg, when did you eat? I don't know. Greg, when was the last time you showered? Do we have a shower? Like, the guy, we were not going to be stopped. And I kind of go at that intensity, kind of anything I do. Like, you're a very calm, good-looking young man. Look at me, I'm a spaz sitting next to you. Like, I'm doing an interview with you. I can't help it. Focused. I'm sweating, man. And so, but I'm like this going to the airport, like 10 miles out. And so, it's anger that has informed kind of my life, and unflatteringly, a sense of vengeance. Every damn person who said I wouldn't be anything, I'm crushing them every day. Everybody I had to endure in any band I was in, every day, into a powder.
In order to succeed, not just in the fashion business, but just to succeed generally, is it talent or hard work?
It's a combination of both, but I would say it's slanted towards hard work, slanted towards obsession. There are many designers who have much greater talent as a designer than I do, but they may not have my drive, they may not work as hard, they may not have the focus, the desire. I mean, you have to have a talent, because in the end, you can have all those things, and if the pair of pants you make don't make someone's butt look good, they're not going to buy them.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You have to have the talent to be able to make something that people want. But then you also have to have the drive and the desire to, sometimes people are successful because maybe they don't have that drive, but they have someone around them who takes their raw talent and pushes them. But what you often see is when that other person steps away, their career can collapse, even though their talent may be immense.
You need a study room. Try to make like literally a little enclosure somewhere where you can go off, hibernate, and study so that nobody is bothering you. And if you want, you can close the door, shut the windows, turn off the TV, no distractions, total silence. You want to have as much control over that space as possible, and you want to organize it well.